What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is The Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 3, The Cell. Thank goodness it was not called Easy Street, because I probably would have shot myself. That song. If I ever hear that song again, I don't know how Daryl does it. But this episode was a good one. It was well done. I thought the character development in it was really well done. Mainly because the one question mark for a lot of this, from season 6 till now, has been Dwight. Everybody pretty much hates Dwight at this point because he stole Daryl's crossbow, stole his jacket, stole his motorcycle. So you kind of hate Dwight because of what he's done to Daryl, because a lot of people like Daryl. So the whole time I'm thinking, why? Why does he hate Daryl so much? What is the point of all this? Well, we finally got to see kind of why in this episode. As it turns out, Dwight, I guess, after they left Daryl stranded, I guess they ran into some problems. They realized they couldn't make it on their own, so he went back to Negan to apologize. And of course, Negan was about to beat him to death. But then Sherry offered herself to Negan in marriage, which he was going to marry her sister, the one that died, because she's terrible at surviving a zombie apocalypse, and just like, oh gosh, I don't know what I'm doing, and just fell into some walkers. Anyway, so we kind of see what happened when he got back, and I was assuming that he got burned in the side of the face, but I'm guessing that really was Lucille. I guess ripped off his face or something. I don't know. It looked like a burn mark to me. So we kind of see what happened after Dwight got back, and it's like Dwight earned his place back. He's been working for Negan for a while since that happened. It's like he's been slowly gaining Negan's trust, but you can see he still doesn't really buy into Negan. He's doing it to protect Sherry because he wants to keep her alive, and so we see that in this episode. We see him lying to Negan, but still pretending like he's following Negan's orders. And so pretty much everything he does, aside from the stuff with Daryl, is like underhanded betraying Negan while making it look like he's not betraying him. So at the very beginning we see him, one guy's getting the crap beat out of him and pretty much just dead, I assume. He goes and gets like mustard and pickles out of his stuff. So he's the first one there to grab his stuff. He's going through the garden. He's taking, lettuce and tomatoes. He's taking it and putting it in his bag. And then Negan walks by and he's down on his knee, pretending like nothing's going on, and makes himself this turkey sandwich. Or, not turkey. It was some sort of really good-looking sandwich. And everybody else, they're eating what they're given. So he's taking some stuff, and I don't think he's doing it legally in Negan's eyes. I think he's allowed to because he's one of Negan's right-hand men. I think the people are letting him do it, but I don't think Negan knows about it. So it's like he's doing all this stuff under Negan's nose. He goes to get that guy Gordon, which the whole scene I was kind of hoping that maybe Dwight would get bit or something, but he makes it, finds the guy that ran away. His name's Gordon, and he's just begging Dwight to kill him. And Dwight knows he's supposed to bring him back. And so he finally threatens the people that he loves because he knows that's the one thing that'll get him to come back, because death doesn't scare him. So death to the people he loves does. So we see that, and Dwight gets him to go back and then shoots him. And at first I was thinking, oh, so he's actually a good guy because the guy wanted to die. And so this is kind of giving him what he wanted. But then we see at the end of the episode he came back as a walker. So it's almost like he gave the guy what he wanted in his death, but at the same time he still did what Negan wanted and brought him back. So it's like he's doing a bit of both. Where that line finally gets drawn is when it comes to Daryl. I think because of what happened after they escaped last season, because of losing his wife's sister, because of what happened when they got back, the fact that he got his face bashed in, because now his wife is his ex-wife and is married to Negan, and very clearly possibly trying to have a baby with her, I think he blames Daryl for all of that because of his involvement in their escape. And so you can see he's very clearly trying to break him down. between playing that song over and over again, not giving him clothes, just feeding him dog food sandwiches day after day. But then slowly, because he hasn't acted up, because he's not stepping out of line, they give him clothes. And so it's like, you're behaving, so you get rewarded for that. And so they're trying to like break him down, pretty much what Negan did to Rick in the first episode of this season, breaking him down mentally. And at one point, it feels like he may have finally done it. Gives he gives Daryl his sandwich for the day. Daryl throws it back in his face. So he gives him a picture of Glenn after he got his head bashed in, telling him, "You're the reason your friend died." And then starts playing this song, this very sad song about crying because you're gone, or something along those lines. And we see Daryl like breaking down into tears and actually grieving over Glenn's death for the first time that we've seen. So it's kind of funny because in Dwight's mind, he's thinking, I've finally broken him. So he takes him into Negan, and of course Negan tells him the story of what happened with Dwight, says, "So what's your name?" And Daryl responds, "Daryl." So we see he's not really broken. I think it's funny because it kind of backfired on Dwight. He was thinking showing him Glenn's picture, playing that song, making him feel guilty, that's what'll break him. That will be the thing that'll break him. And ultimately what it did, it gave him a chance to finally grieve over his death and move on and get past it. So now it's like the one thing that he was struggling with, the one reason he was punishing himself by being in this cell, he's now moved on from it. So very, very interesting to see that. And even like his escape, there was kind of the thought of, is he really trying to escape? But at the same time, you could say, well, maybe, because the girl said, there's no way out. Even if you do get out, there's always something worse he'll do. It was almost like he was trying to punish himself, like trying to force Negan's hand into killing him. So it's almost like he wants himself to be punished. But now that he's been able to get over Glenn's death, I wonder if he'll actually start to fight to live now. I doubt he's going to give in to Negan anytime soon because, like he says at the end of the episode, probably one of the best lines from Daryl because he had very few, but he says, "I understand. I get why you gave in. You had to protect somebody. That's why I can't." And so it's kind of like saying, you have somebody to protect. That's why you gave in. That's why you're working for him. I don't have anybody to protect, so I'm not giving in. So it's almost like he understands Dwight's circumstances, and it's kind of subtly letting him know, I'm not doing the same. You did what you had to do. I'm not gonna do it. So I really I like all the subtlety in it. I like the fact that Daryl hardly had any lines in this episode. It would be so easy to just give him lines in his head or something, make him talk out loud. Give him these lines whenever he's talking to Negan to just Abraham, if he were in that situation, would probably just been spitting one-liners the entire time. Daryl, he's not very talkative, so a lot of what we see from him is through his expressions, and he did a very good job of showing kind of at first the lack of expression, he's not really he's kind of retreating into himself type thing. And then as the episode progressed, as they slowly started getting to him bit by bit, we see that expression change. We see him start to actually show some emotion. So really, really liked the performance from Norman Reedus. I thought he nailed it. I think Dwight, he's kind of grown on me to the point where I don't really like him because he's still kind of a jackass. But I feel like there's a possibility that Rick and his group can use him as an inside man because I don't think he buys in to Negan's philosophy. I think he's doing this all for Sherry's sake. So there may be a point where Sherry ends up dying. Maybe she sacrifices herself to sort of give Dwight the freedom to do what he wants, because I think at some point she'll realize the fact that she's the reason why Dwight's kind of being tortured by Negan right now. So I feel like at some point she'll sacrifice herself to help Dwight. And then Dwight will have the opportunity to stand up to Negan. But, I mean, if we're talking about performances, my hat again goes off to Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan because holy crap, he destroys it again in this part. I mean, he just absolutely kills it every single time he's on screen. The first scene between him and Dwight, I was intimidated by him, and yet I was laughing my ass off because he's sitting there talking about, oh, you get to have any woman you want, and then she's like, what? I just told you this is pussy hour and Dwight has an all-you-can-eat buffet, and you don't want anything? Are you not able to get it up? I'm talking about your penis. Just constant just jokes coming at him and just really beating him down at times. And it's almost like you can see Dwight's reaction. It hurts him because he wants to say something back. He's not one to just take it on the chin and be like, okay, I'm good. But he kind of has to for Sherry's sake. So I like that little exchange. It shows that Dwight is willing to say what he needs to say to stay under Negan's good graces, but at the same time, you can see some of the reactions. It's like he's trying to hold in his feelings. He's trying to hold that all in because he doesn't want to put Sherry's life in danger. So I loved all of those interactions. Girl playing Sherry, she has a nice little moment with Daryl later on where she says, you told us you'll be sorry. I am. So we can see that she's clearly affected by all of this. And like I said, I think that'll play a part later on whenever she realizes she's the reason why Dwight is having to work for Negan. And then, of course, all the moments where, oh, is Daryl going to die? There was a part of me that thought to myself, no, it's not going to happen. Because, not because these characters are unkillable. I mean, they've shown with the fact that they were willing to not only kill off Glenn, but also kill off Abraham at the same time. Two characters that really most people are going to be attached to and are going to be hurt by losing. Everybody expected kind of, oh, we're going to lose somebody that maybe I won't care about as much. No, Abraham and Glenn are two really good characters that we lost. So they've shown the fact that they're willing to kill off some of these characters. But it's almost like any show that you watch, if it's the third episode in the season, chances are you're not going to lose a main character. This show is a bit different, but I don't expect to lose Daryl in the third episode. I especially don't expect him to lose, or I especially don't expect him to die by Negan just randomly bashing his head in because he tried to escape. First of all, that's too easy for Negan. I think he showed that in the first episode where he told Dwight, you don't kill it without trying. So I think we can see that Negan sort of respects Daryl. He respects the fact that he is very hard to break down. He respects the fact that he's a fighter, and he wants to use that. Now, ultimately, that may end up being his downfall, but we can see the confidence in him that he feels like he can get through to Daryl, and he can convince him to work for him. But I see Daryl, if he is going to go out, I see him going out in a blaze of glory, just taking people with him, sacrificing himself for everybody else. I don't see him just getting his head bashed in by Lucille randomly in the third episode. So even though those scenes are very intense, and it's kind of like, it feels like any second the bat could just come and wreck him. Even if it doesn't kill him, it could still like mess his face up like Dwight's. There's still that concern there for that. But there was never really concern for his death. So that is one thing that I wish they would... I wish it hadn't been Daryl that got taken, because if it were somebody else, there's kind of the concern of, oh, maybe. But because it's Daryl, that's the only real kind of, not an issue, but it is something that you can tell they're trying to make you think, oh, Daryl might die right here, guys. What if he dies right here? And they're clearly not going to do that. So, I don't know. I don't know if they're really trying to push for that or not, but either way, in spite of that one thing, the rest of it was just really amazing. And it was a really, really good episode. I think it shows once again that this show does a good job of character development. It does a good job of really helping these characters not only go through these great times where they're fighting off the walkers, they're surviving, but also show the times now where this is Negan's group. It's not just, oh, the governor, and he was a bad guy, but this is something completely different. This is a person they've never encountered before. This is a person with evil inside of them that we've never seen. With the governor, it was kind of like, oh, he seems like he might be a good guy. He seems like he might be a good guy, but we see the crazy side of him. We see, okay, so deep down he's got this crazy side. With Negan, it's like he's just completely evil. There's no good side to him. It's just all evil. And even his jokes are, as funny as they are, they're still very demeaning jokes and always just tearing somebody down whenever he makes a joke. So I don't know. It's all really good right now. It's intense. It's fun to watch. It's not just dark, grim. Blah, blah. They could have made Negan just this total, just evil guy with no sense of humor. But the fact that they gave him a sense of humor makes it all the more fun to watch because it's not. You want to be able to enjoy it. You don't want to just watch and feel like so sad all the time. You want to be able to enjoy it too. So that edge of Negan gives you that enjoyment, and they're doing it very well. A lot of good stuff. Can't wait for next week's episode. Gonna be an hour and a half long. Don't know how they're gonna do that, but it's a really good setup, like where we're going. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What'd you like and dislike about this episode? Let me know. We can talk about, discuss, all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Walking Dead reviews, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.